She thought her daughter was gone forever, until a stranger appeared with a child and a DNA test revealed a truth more twisted than grief could ever imagine. A body was found, but it wasn't her daughter, it was her granddaughter. And the real mother, still alive, still out there, hiding, watching and smiling from the shadows. If you want to uncover the chilling truth behind this mystery, stay with me till the end. And if stories like this keep you hooked, subscribe and drop your thoughts in the comments below. It started with a knock, not the kind that startles, but the kind that stays with you. Soft, slow, deliberate, Maria opened the front door of her quiet suburban New Jersey home. A man in a crisp navy suit stood under the porch light. "Are you Mrs. Maria Thompson?" She nodded. "I'm Agent Russell, with the Bureau of Missing Persons. May I come in?" She had heard that name, her name in this context, for over 18 years. Her hand trembled as she moved aside. The smell of jasmine incense, lit as part of her evening time meditation ritual, lingered in the air. Agent Russell didn't sit. He pulled a manila envelope from his briefcase. "A body was found near the Delaware River. We believe it may be your daughter, Molly." Maria froze. The room didn't. Everything else kept moving. The ticking wall clock, the swaying paper lantern from Chiang Mai, the wind brushing through the bamboo wind chimes outside. "I'm sorry," he said gently, "but we need a DNA sample for confirmation." She hadn't spoken her daughter's name in years, not since that summer day in 2007, when 8-year-old Molly vanished from a local park while chasing fireflies. Maria nodded, barely breathing. They swabbed her cheek, took a strand of hair from an old brush in her drawer. Then came the wait. 7 days. 7 silent nights where Maria relit her altar, offered sticky rice and lotus flowers, and whispered Thai prayers of protection and peace. On the 8th day, the phone rang. "Mrs. Thompson," the voice was measured. "We have the results. The DNA. It's not a match." Maria's knees buckled. Relief and confusion collided in her chest. If it's not her, then who is the girl? A pause. A close match. Too close. "The DNA indicates a biological relation." Maria's world tilted. "A relation?" "Yes, ma'am. The DNA belongs to a girl who appears to be the daughter of Molly." Maria dropped the phone. She stared at the altar. The picture of Molly with her tiny braid and her favorite elephant toy. Her little girl who was only 8 when she vanished. Now somehow, a mother. Agent Russell returned 2 days later, with a photo, a grainy image taken at a border checkpoint in El Paso. A girl with tan skin, almond eyes, a small gold Buddha around her neck. She couldn't be older than 9. She was found wandering with a Thai-American woman who claimed to be her aunt, he said, but the woman fled during the night. Maria stared at the photo. The girl had Molly's cheekbones, her father's dimples, and something else, a pain in her eyes, that mirrored Maria's own. The agent looked uneasy. "There's more," he said. He pulled out another envelope. "This DNA doesn't just link to you." Maria blinked. "What do you mean?" "There's another match. A man, incarcerated in Nevada for armed robbery. He's listed in the system as your brother." Maria's blood ran cold. "I don't have a brother." Agent Russell didn't flinch. "Apparently you do." And then another knock at the door, this time heavier. 3 hard raps. She turned. A silhouette stood on the porch, tall, thin, holding something in his hands, a child's backpack. She stepped toward the door, heart thudding, breath stuck, hands trembling. She opened it, and everything she thought she knew about her family, her past, her missing daughter, began to unravel. The man on the porch looked no older than 40, but life had carved years into his face. He held the backpack tightly, like it was something sacred. His eyes searched hers, not threatening, not pleading, but uncertain. "Maria?" he asked softly. She didn't answer, couldn't. The name felt foreign in his mouth. I think I'm your brother." The words hit her like a low tide, slow and heavy. Her mind tried to push them out, but her heart wouldn't let them go. "You're mistaken," she whispered, gripping the edge of the door for balance. "I don't have a brother." He nodded slowly. "I didn't know either, until a few weeks ago." He stepped back, carefully unzipping the backpack. Inside was a worn photo. 2 children. A girl in a pink dress with a crooked smile, and a boy, barely 4, with a mop of black hair and eyes just like hers. "Taken at Wat Prakow," he said. "Our foster parents took us there before we were split up." Maria's breath caught in her throat. She remembered the temple, the gold spires, the dragon staircases, the way the monk had pressed a saffron thread into her hand for protection. "I was adopted out of Thailand when I was 5, he continued, voice rough. "I ended up in California. The records were sealed. I had no idea I had a sister, until they called me about the DNA." She staggered back inside, her legs moving without thought. The man followed her, closing the door behind him. He set the backpack down gently on the couch, like it carried something fragile. Inside was a pink knit sweater, a small jade elephant, and a half-empty juice box. "She's safe," he said. "Your granddaughter. She's staying with a social worker for now." Maria sat down, gripping the sweater. It smelled faintly of strawberries and dust. "I need to see her," she whispered. "I need to hold her." He nodded. "You will." But then his eyes darkened. "There's something else, something I didn't tell the agents." Maria looked up slowly. "The woman who had the girl? The one who claimed to be her aunt?" He paused. "She's not a stranger. She's someone from your past." Maria stared, her heart thundering in her ears. "Who?" He looked her dead in the eye. "Do you remember a woman named Anchana?" Maria felt the name explode in her chest like a fuse. Her old roommate, her closest friend back in Bangkok, the one who vanished the same week Maria boarded the plane to America. They had fought, screamed, over something Maria couldn't even fully remember anymore. Then Anchana disappeared, and now she had her daughter's child. Maria stood abruptly. "Where is she?" Her brother hesitated. "She was last spotted in Arizona, but she's running, and she's not alone. Not alone." He reached into his coat and pulled out a printed still from a gas station surveillance camera. Two women. One was Anchana, the other Maria dropped the photo. Because the other woman was Molly. Older, alive, looking right at the camera, and smiling. Maria's knees buckled. Her brother lunged forward, catching her before she hit the floor. "I saw her," she gasped. "That was her. That was my baby." He helped her onto the couch, the photo still trembling in her hand. It wasn't a blurry resemblance. It wasn't a hallucination. It was Molly alive, grown, and smiling. But that smile, it wasn't the carefree grin of a child. It was guarded, cautious, like someone who had learned to hide behind it. Her brother poured her a glass of water from the kitchen. "Maria," he said softly, "if Molly's alive, if Anchana's been raising her all these years," he didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. The girl they buried near the Delaware River wasn't Molly. She was Molly's daughter, which meant Molly had been taken, raised, hidden. "Anchana lied to all of us," Maria whispered, staring at the photo. "She took my daughter, and made her believe I was gone." Her brother leaned in, voice lower now. "I don't think Molly knows the truth. She wouldn't be smiling if she did." Maria's mind spiraled. Years of guilt, confusion, grief suddenly uprooted, replaced by a new horror. What had Molly been told? What had she lived through? Her brother handed her another photo, a cropped image, a symbol, a lotus tattoo etched behind Anchana's ear. "You remember this?" he asked. Maria's breath caught. Yes, the lotus. A symbol of rebirth, of escape. Anchana had it even in college. Said it reminded her of her mother's belief in karma. That one life always pays for another. Maria's voice was barely a whisper. "She blamed me. For leaving," her brother said, finishing her thought. "For choosing adoption. For coming to the States." She said it was betrayal. Maria nodded slowly. And suddenly, it all made sense. The cold stare Anchana gave her that last day. The silence, the disappearance. "She didn't just take Molly," Maria said, eyes blazing. "She raised her as her own. Out of revenge." The sound of rain began to tap against the windows. Outside, the street lamps flickered to life. The wind carried the soft scent of burning sage. Her brother pulled out a thumb drive and placed it on the table. "She's using aliases, cache, burners. But I've tracked 3 stops over the last 6 months. All along the southwest, always near Thai temples." Maria picked up the drive. Inside this little piece of plastic was her daughter's trail. A road map through lies. Through years of darkness. But something else stirred in her. Not just fear. Resolve. "I'm going after her," she said. "I don't care how long it takes." Her brother nodded. "I'll go with you." Then the doorbell rang. This time neither of them moved. They just stared at each other, breath caught in their throats. 3 slow knocks. Then a child's voice, soft, muffled on the other side of the door. Made Maria's heart stop. She didn't breathe. Couldn't her entire body stilled like the world had hit pause. That voice, it wasn't imagined. It wasn't memory. It was real. Right there, inches away. She rose slowly from the couch, as if any sudden movement would shatter the moment. Her hand hovered above the doorknob. Her brother stood behind her, silent. Then she turned the knob. The door creaked open. Standing there in the dim glow of the porch light was a little girl, the same one from the photo. Gold Buddha necklace. Jade elephant keychain dangling from her backpack. Eyes wide with quiet hope, Maria dropped to her knees. "Sweetheart," the girl blinked. "You're May." Maria nodded, unable to speak. Tears welled in her eyes as she reached out. Slowly, gently. The child didn't flinch. She stepped forward and fell into Maria's arms. the warmth, the scent of strawberry shampoo. The tiny heartbeat pressed against her chest. Maria held her tighter than she had held anything in her life. Her brother stood in the doorway, his hand over his mouth. Behind the girl, a dark sedan pulled away down the street. No license plate. No driver in sight. "Where's the woman who brought you here?" he asked softly. The girl turned her head. "She said you would keep me safe," she said. She had to go. Maria pulled back slightly. Her hands trembled as she brushed the hair from the girl's face. "What's your name, baby?" The girl looked up. "Molly told me to say my name is Lila." Maria's breath caught. Molly, she had named her daughter Lila. "I think that's Thai," the girl added. "It means play." Maria smiled through her tears. "Lila means play. Yes, but it also means divine drama." Her voice cracked. "Just like our story." Lila reached into her backpack and pulled out a folded piece of paper. "I drew this," she said. "She told me to give it to you." Maria unfolded the paper slowly. Crayons on yellow paper, a picture of 3 people, a woman, a girl, and another woman with a red X through her face. And beside the picture, in clumsy handwriting, "Greater than I found out the truth. I'm sorry I waited so long. I'll come when it's safe. Please take care of her. I love you, May." Greater than Molly. The wind picked up again. The porch chimes swayed and sang. Somewhere in the distance a dog barked. A streetlight flickered. Maria clutched the drawing to her chest. Her daughter was alive. She knew the truth, and she had sent her child home. Home. She looked down at Lila, who had settled onto her lap, already dozing off. Safe in arms that once thought they'd lost everything. And for the first time in nearly 2 decades, Maria felt a piece of her soul return. But in the shadows beyond the porch, a figure stood watching, waiting. Hands folded, a lotus tattoo visible in the moonlight. The figure didn't move, just stood beneath the swaying branches, half hidden by the darkness. Maria looked up, eyes locking with the silhouette she knew too well. Anchana, older now, hair streaked with silver, but the face still carrying that same quiet defiance, the same wounded pride. For a moment, neither woman said a word. Decades of silence stretched between them like a bridge suspended over fire. Then Anchana raised her hand just slightly, not a wave, not a threat, a goodbye, or maybe a surrender. Maria held her gaze. No hatred, no rage, only something heavier, grief, tangled with forgiveness. She nodded once. Anchana turned and vanished into the dark. Gone before the wind could whisper her name. Maria closed the door gently. The porch light flickered out inside. The house was quiet. Lila lay asleep on the couch, clutching the jade elephant, the drawing tucked beside her. Maria sat next to her and looked around the room. Photos on the mantel, the soft glow of her mother's spirit house in the corner, the incense smoke rising in soft spirals toward the ceiling. Her brother joined her silently, placing a warm blanket over the child. "She brought her here," he said softly. "She kept her safe." In her own broken way, Maria nodded. "She did." Then she whispered the words she had waited a lifetime to say. Words no mother should have to hold in silence for 18 years. "I'm here, Molly. I'm waiting. Whenever you're ready to come home." The rain outside softened to a hush, and somewhere, far away, the first morning birds began to sing.